the management and staff of this good station, The Street, 91.9 FM. I'm Selvon Mitchell. This afternoon with me, guiding the ship, is my colleague, Mr. Roland Rollocks. Our friend Stephen Mattison joining. He is on matters of state. Before we start, I'll say I thank God for the Creator, the energies, for having us, as Mr. Rollocks just say, above ground today, to be able to have conversation with the population, analyze, reason, and see if we could come up with some workable solution for this great country of ours. My friend Rollocks.
Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago, and in keeping with the other umpires' gestures, want to give thanks for another day, a Friday. Some people didn't make it to this Friday, but we're here, you are here, the teams are here, the 12th man is here. So we have a match. We have a match on, and in the second segment, we want to deal with a particular issue with the bowling side. The batting side is the side that is bringing the matter, but it was really enacted with the bowling side. We're going to go right into the dressing room. Even though it's a team talk right now, I guess it's going on in the parliament. You know, the two sides are discussing the matter. And we're going to deal with the ad hominem legislation, referring to the amendment of the Pension Act. And just to give some more clarity, ad hominem legislation refers to laws that are perceived to be targeting specific individuals and groups. This type of legislation, sometimes they criticize it as being unfair, but it is group targeted. It doesn't target the usual general public or the general citizenry. So there's a matter that is before Parliament that is being discussed, dealing with the amendment to the Pension Act and certain matters that really started under the bowling side when they were batting, and it has come up now for discussion. The umpires are there and everybody is discussing the matter, and you are here, so we want you to help us discuss that matter. I will give some context when that comes up, because we really want to discuss the matter and not the individuals, okay, per se, meaning we don't want to discuss the characters of the individuals. We want to be a little more responsible and discuss the matter, say as you feel, but it is not, we're here for the study of it, and we're here to be edified and to share opinions rather than to throw pick on at people and to impute motive.
Oh, improper too.
Yeah, improper motive, where there may be none. Nonetheless, as the 12th man, your responsibility is to guard against those injustices on either side. Injustices on the batting side.
And we will help them do that.
And injustices on the bowling side.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just, remember, two people are competing, trying to win the match, runs on the board. But this matter has come up for discussion, and we want to discuss this amendment to the Pension Act, and really with an eye to examine the captaincy of the new bowling captain.
Ooh.
The new bowling
Yes.
captaincy is under the watch today,
Yes.
as we speak.
Yes.
What will, so we have a female captain on both teams.
Yeah.
The batting side is ready. They've made it clear that this piece of legislation brought under the bowling side must be amended. None shall escape. They have said that they're doing it to the benefit of the people and guarding the public purse, etc., etc. However, the beneficiary, the immediate beneficiary, is not a batsman, it's a bowler. And there's a new bowling captain. The last bowling captain has retired, has declared his runs, and he's retired.
Yeah.
So we want to discuss the matter before the two captains. And we want you, the 12th man, to bring a little balance to the discussion. Bring your own views, you know, bring your touch and your personality on the discussion without getting into any legal scandals
or personalities.
Yeah. We want to raise this discussion above those things. I know now and again people will get emotional, but the third umpires are supposed to be very analytical, very scientific, very dispassionate, and very non-partisan. That is the role of the third umpire. You understand? He may have his views about what is going on.
Based on facts.
Based on facts. But we must follow the rules of the game.
Of engagement. Yeah.
If it doesn't have any rules, it's best we fight.
But you know what's interesting about this amendment bill, and to the people in the pavilion, the Prime Minister's Pension Amendment Bill 2025 is what will be examined, and some may say is a moral and ethical issue, some may say is a legal issue, some might say is a bipartisan issue in terms of resolution and so forth. There are many opinions. If you want to be legalistic, one would say, well, the law allows. If you want to be ethical, one could say it's morally and spiritually wrong. You understand?
Yes.
So it's hard to bring a balance. Yeah? So it's a kind of conscience vote to some extent, you know.
Yes.
To a large extent, it's a conscience vote.
And the trap, and for want of a better word, for the batting side is that once you stand on principle, you have to keep standing.
On principle, on everything you do.
Correct. So consistency.
You'll be measured on that day after.
Because if you are there for...
All right. Yeah, good.
Inconsistent, the bowling side will cry foul and injury. In that ethics and morals and high standing only is conveniently applies, selectively applies. Good, it's not robust.
So you're saying what the batting side is doing now is creating standard in which the pavilion will be measuring their performance against.
Oh yes, because remember we did not spare, when we went to the election polls on the polling day, we did not spare the bowling side.
No.
The decisions of the 12th man was emphatic.
Yeah.
They were emphatic and clear, based on particular issues which we will discuss when that time comes.
Wow.
But so be it. If that is the claim now, and we're playing morals and ethics now.
Yeah.
Good. Even if you get by this balance today, or actually I think it's Tuesday, it comes up for voting.
Yeah.
If you get by,
well, they said I'll go to the Senate.
Correct.
Party, so
if you get by, and you convince enough independent senators who we shall address as a group on their own, and government senators who are now faced with the dilemma.
Well, who say bowlers wouldn't support you?
Well, we don't know. We don't know
who say bowlers wouldn't say.
If the new party leader, the new bowling captain, will allow a conscience vote
good.
to prevail, or
because the new captain is talking one love,
or the ways of old, as in no damn dog bark, will apply. We have to see, because we're hearing this is a new generation, one love, we love everybody, love the circle, God is love,
we'll take care of you,
breast jar. We're hearing a lot of positivity coming out of the bowling side, you know. Forget what went before. This is a new captain, so we want to see how new the captaincy is.
How revolutionary. How revolutionary.
We want to see
thinking
and hear Or are we going down the same road? Is it the same tricks again?
Well, is it the same trick what we call groupthink?
Yes.
That because the leader says so, whether I like it or not, I going along with that.
Well, I'm not even sure it's groupthink, you know. Because remember when the mic was on in the dressing room,
we heard something.
it wasn't groupthink. Good. It was, according to the players themselves, dictatorship.
Yeah.
It wasn't groupthink.
Yeah.
Because we did hear in the changing room, when the mics were on and everybody was laughing and having fun, we heard it had some bad word pass.
Yes.
Some people were not happy with the captain and said so. Yeah. It is not that that was not expressed. Yeah. But the captain, he held a strong arm, a very strong arm. We could talk about his captaincy in history now. History, as Castro say, history will absolve. You know?
Yeah.
But let's see what happens. Let's see what this new captain will do. Let's see what the captain of the batting side, if she will go for the juggler.
No, well, we know the captain for the batting side already say.
Yes.
What we're going in the wicket to do.
Yes.
We know that.
Yes.
We know the captain of the batting side, hey, 1 year, nah, understanding for that. Right? But the captain say, hey, we have a remedy, you know. I'm not saying let me just mash it up, you know. The captain of the batting side did put forward a position, eh?
Correct.
Did forward a position to say, if you jump in the thing and 12 months have, because here the funniness we're dealing with here. And the challenge on everybody's mind is that the previous captain, who spent about 28 to a month and a quarter, yeah, never reached the parliament, you know. You understand what I'm saying? And the question begs, if you, as the captain, never reach in the oval to bat, should you be paid for playing cricket? Should you be rewarded if you never reach in the pavilion? You were reaching the outfield, you reach nowhere close. The question is. So that is what the batting captain is saying. They say, hey, in 1 year haven't met you there, 2 months haven't met you there, you haven't said reached, there's not a word on Hansard from you. You understand? So, but they came with a solution. They say, okay, we're not all that bad, you know. We understand. We want to amend it. We say, crush eating all together. They bring a formula in place, as the case may be. Yeah? And we could drive into the formula that says, I know we're supposed to have a call-in from on the closure of the Exim Bank conference and so forth. We'll drive into that for a little 10 minutes when we get the call of the closing of the 32nd conference of the Afri-Exim Bank in Abuja. And then we'll drive into this legislation of the Prime Minister's Pension Amendment Bill 2025. That is being debated right now, I understand.
Yes.
And in the upper house, we have the the revenue bill being debated also and voted on also. Which is, I have my views on that, which is simple enough and so forth. The pension bill that is before us is a conscience vote, really and truly, because it comes down to property, because you're dealing with salary that has been approved by law. So it's property you're dealing with. A man's property, you're going to take away property after the law say give him it. You're going to repeal his property. I know you and Matheson practice a lot of property law in terms of salaries and so forth. How that will reflect. To give, before we get a call on Nigeria, I'll just give a preface of the Afri-Exim Bank. What has been announced today in the conference is that Jamaica will be signing the partnership agreement at the CARICOM Heads of Government on the 6th to the 8th of July. So that was announced in Abuja today. So Jamaica will be signing. Trinidad will be the only country island, I should say, that have not signed or give a commitment thus far to the bank to sign the partnership agreement. I'm just summarizing here, people. What the partnership agreement does is allow countries that are partners with the bank, and sometime next week I'll delve into what the partnership agreement entails. There's nothing draconian, there's nothing stringent or anything like that. It's really an agreement that says that the country recognizes the bank as a legitimate organization, if I may try and crunch 15 pages in 3 sentences. Recognize a legitimate organization is not that the bank need anything from Trinidad per se. It doesn't want anything from Trinidad. Trinidad don't understand no guarantee if somebody from Trinidad borrows from the bank or anything like that. Far from it. Yeah? It's just an agreement that says this country have recognized the existence and the operation of the bank in CARICOM. We at present, if I may go back to the notes, the bank has provided $1.3 billion US availability to CARICOM islands that have signed on to the partnership agreement. It was, I understand, once all the islands of the Caribbean signed, the last 2 is Trinidad and Jamaica. Jamaica has made this commitment in the conference today. It will be increased to $3 billion, but what I'm told over the phone from my people there, that they will move it from $3 to $5 billion US availability for the Caribbean private sector and government to borrow for projects in the line of tourism, in terms of agriculture, in terms of hospitals, in terms of port projects, port-type projects, in terms of manufacturing and so. These projects are projects that the bank have a great appetite for, and I know we have an aggressive and dynamic private sector that really reeling for some U.S. funding. And this arrangement and partnership with the bank will assist to a large extent. This availability of partnership with the bank also allow for access to markets, the African market that echoes 15 countries in Africa that have a population of over 400 million people that is available for trade. As the case may be, Africa as a continent is over 1.4 billion people. What is interesting, USA yesterday did a major presentation in the African Bank conference yesterday. So they are looking at Africa as a major player in terms of trade. An interesting one, I hope my colleagues in Abuja could come on soon. Africa have launched today the one card trading for Africa. So all of Africa will be trading on one platform. So where have we been trying to look at the SWIFT system? Africa have launched today a one card system for trading. So they'll be trading in one currency, one denomination, as the case may be. So who have the different, I think it's about 30 something different currencies they deal with across there. But when it comes to trade, they'll be on one platform, something I hope the CARICOM in their meeting would start considering seriously and stop bantering like I wouldn't go into what they're bantering as. But really and truly, Africa have shifted the paradigm in terms of trade and how they will be trading amongst each other on that platform, that one card platform that was launched today. So the Afri-Exim Bank is playing a major role. I see we have Dr. William is on the line. Good afternoon, Excellency.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How are you?
Welcome. Say welcome to Trinidad and Tobago. You live and direct Trinidad and Tobago. We have Our Excellency Dr. Wallace William, who is in Abuja, the closing off of the Afri-Exim Bank 32nd conference. The ball is in your court, Doc. Give us an update. I was talking about the one card, Doc. If you can elaborate and expand on it for the country, they're listening to you.
Yes. Well, some exciting things are happening. First to begin, let me say hello to my fellow Trinbagonians, Trinidad and Tobago. Abuja has received over 10,000 visitors for this annual AGM, the 32nd. So that's a milestone. I mean, the whole of Abuja, I would say, was closed down. Absolutely. You had heads of states from the African countries, and we were well represented, at least by Jamaica, PJ Patterson, the longest-serving Prime Minister of Jamaica, was there. The Bahamian Prime Minister, the St. Kitts Prime Minister, Drew, and of course Grenada, Mitchell, who's going to be hosting the Afri Summit. And of course, because I'm the resident representative for Antigua and Barbuda, they were also there. So what is interesting is that there are so many initiatives now that were launched today by the Afrexim Bank, which, as you know, started off as a trade bank and has developed into a Pan-African institution that luckily they have decided to bring in the sixth region, which is the Caribbean, into the fold. And it behoves on us as Trinbagonians to get on board with Afrexim Bank. They're going to sign with Jamaica next week. That will be the 13th country in the Caribbean. Trinidad should be a major player with Afrexim Bank, especially as we are talking energy. They just invested in the energy bank that's just being launched also in Nigeria. And of course, with us being an energy country, those are some of the benefits we'll get, and even energy projects. As you well know, they've just spent $1.5 billion with Statoil in Suriname, $1 billion with Guyana for local content, and we have been the pioneers of local content before Guyana. So we should be benefiting from some projects like these with the Afrexim Bank, and I am hoping that our government is listening, and I will absolutely happily play a part, having brought the Trinidad model on gas to the Nigerian gas master plan and local content. So we need to really up our game and get involved. But let me give you, as you ask, about one of the initiatives today, which is a game changer. As you know, 55 countries on the continent, over 45 different currencies, and you've had to have a lot of problems to trade. That is the kickback of the intra-Africa trade, having set up the African Free Trade Area. One of the bugbears was, how do we, with all these various, what we'll call devalued currencies, trade among ourselves and do so successfully? And what has been keeping that back is, one, a standard currency and a payment system. And what has happened is that today we launched, and I have to say we because I was part of the recipient, the payment system, Pan-African Payment System, Settlement System, PAPS, PAPSS, if you look it up. So we now have a card which can work with most African countries, because we've only rolled out 18 countries so far, because it was a surprise. Of course, it's been piloted, and then it's going to all 55 countries. So therefore, the payments will remain in Africa, the trade will remain in Africa. It's a closed shop here now, and that means nobody has to now talk to somebody in an American bank for SWIFT and, you know, all that entails, because, you know, it's a roll of the dice when you talk about doing trade and you don't have the kind of currency to back it. Now it is all accepted. And then another thing is that China has started to accept African currencies, right, on what we'll call a unilateral basis to pay for goods and services in China. Why? Because China has investments across Africa, so it's easy for them to collect their individual currencies and use it. And I'm saying the individual African currencies, and use them locally to pay their workers, etc., etc. So, you know, I suppose that's one of the reasons why America had a huge delegation here, because they realize that they have lost the plot. Africa is in a renaissance and rising. You have a youth population who are absolutely very digital savvy. I mean, if you talk about M-Pesa, was a 21-year-old in Kenya who developed the M-Pesa. When I go to Kenya, I don't use cash. Everything is paid for, including buying corn from the side of the street. They just give you their number and you pay electronically. And that has become the standard, and it's also spreading throughout East Africa. So the PAPS is a game changer. They have got so many other initiatives. They set up a quality assurance institution so that goods and services can be quality assured with an African standard, as opposed to having to use outside quality assurance. They have set up an Afrexim insure your goods as well. And they have now come up with all the countries having different standards, 55 countries. They have now come up with a unified standards, what I'll call standard, you know, so that the goods, once it leaves from one country to another, it has already been accepted by the standards that they have set up. So there are several initiatives. I think there was about 7 or 8. I don't want to reveal too much, but the fact of the matter is that Afrexim Bank will be the vehicle of choice for South-South collaboration and relationship. I know and I understand that our own Minister of Trade said, and rightfully so, that his first statement, I understand, was that we are going to face Africa. Well, he made the right statement there, because South-South collaboration is now the way to go. The North America, etc., there is nothing that the Caribbean and Africa can gain, except if you want to be part of the war between China and America and tariffs, and absorb that and reduce your reach in terms of your economy, which is going to be devastated with things like that. But if you face Africa, you've got 1.3 billion people,
Dr. William,
and you've got a bank.
Do you see the possibility of that card in terms of trading on that platform being introduced to the CARICOM as the sixth region?
Absolutely. They spoke about it today.
Oh.
They spoke about the fact.
Excellent.
It's being tested, they said, in CARICOM with the Caribbean Central Bank, the Caribbean Development Bank, one of them. They were all there. The governor of the Caribbean Central Bank or the Caribbean Development Bank were all actually at this occasion today as well. So they are getting savvy and understanding that this is the way to go. And what does that do? That means the region, 14 currencies, I understand. Sorry, 8 currencies that we have in the Caribbean.
Yes, 8.
8 currencies can now be standardized, under the PAPS settlement system, because as a sixth region, you're doing business with Africa.
Yes, excellent.
If that is what we are doing, facing South-South collaboration and cooperation with Africa, then PAPS is the way to go. And I can't wait to use my card. I understand it's been loaded for all of us. So there's quite a few.
How fortunate. How fortunate. I hope Prime Minister Mitchell will put it as part of the CARICOM heads agenda on the 6th to the 8th of July. I hope it forms part of the agenda.
I'm quite sure that it will. I'm quite sure that it will, because I would say that the Caribbean has support with Afrexim Bank, and that's because we have, by next week, isn't it, Jamaica signing on. That will be the 13th country.
Yeah.
And I urge my government, urge the government, present government, to join and sign on the Afrexim Bank so that we could stimulate SMEs, MSMEs, and also any major project, including our refinery. Why can't we not sign on to Afrexim Bank and also do what we need to do with our refinery? Statoil has got a 1.5 billion from Afrexim Bank. We have a good history of our former Petrotrin. We have the union who have the skilled workers there ready to go. We have, and regenerate the South, where I'm from. You know, I'm a southerner. I'm a South boy.
Yes.
Labray boy,
Good.
as a matter of fact, on the picnic. You know. So I will love to see our government sign on with Afrexim Bank and let money start to flow through Afrexim Bank for some of our major projects to revive our economy. You know, we are an energy country, and now that they have also invested in an energy bank in Nigeria, I can see us also talking to energy bank because it's strictly for energy projects, and we are an energy-based country. Gas, right? And they are now, right now, Nigeria is bringing out those funds because they want to drive the economy with gas, like we have done, because we sold them the idea of the Trinidad model on gas almost, as you know, 15, 20 years ago. I went to Nigeria and took the Trinidad model on gas. I took along some of our best experts. I took Tony Paul. I took so many of our experts over there to Nigeria and told them how we did it. And they were very excited and incorporated it into their gas master plan. We've also pioneered the content at the Nigerian Monitoring and Development Board came out of also Trinidad, and I was responsible for bringing that to Nigeria. And also, of course, I spoke on it to several African countries, Tanzania, Uganda, Kenya, Ghana, you know, Rwanda, you know, because we've been encouraging quietly, you know, I was doing it behind the scenes, quietly explaining to, you know, our brothers on the continent that we had enough knowledge and expertise, you know, to assist in the local content and in the gas master plan. So Trinidad has a
so we have right basically now, what you're saying, Doc, the door is open for us to walk in and do some what we call economic transformation of our manufacturing, our distribution, our agriculture, our energy, our tourism sector.
Energy, manufacturing, SMEs, etc. You know, because there's also economic zones that we'll be able to put in, but that is something that if government wants, you know, we can discuss it. But, you know, there are so much, but, you know, I was saying, you know, that there's some of the reasons why people who have come from the Caribbean and made delegations to Africa failed. They did not understand the business of culture and the culture of business. Two different things. Those are two keywords I want to use, and they need to understand that. And that's why so many missions failed, because you're coming to a continent that is 55 countries, and there's a culture of business, and then there's a business of culture. And you have to understand those subtle differences, those nuances. You also have to understand the hierarchy of how the tradition is within the continent. You have to understand, you know, who do you look to? Who do you face? You know, how do you do business? What are the things that you need to arm yourself with? You know, we only talk about the African continent, but don't understand the continent. And that has been the bugbear of everybody saying, you know, I don't want to lose. I have spent, you know, over 30 years understanding the continent, and it's an advantage for our government. I'm also chairman, luckily as a Trinidadian, I'm chairman of the African International Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which will also be a vehicle to assist, you know, the sixth region, our own country and the rest of the Caribbean. And you are playing a role. We've appointed you as director for the region. I also have Ramesh Lakshmidiyal as the chief executive of the Trinidad chapter, and Merlin, who will be your vice president for the region.
So a lot is happening on this side. A lot is happening. A lot is happening on this side.
Yes, we have the opportunity now. You know, the stars. You know, they say a Trini is a god. A Trinidad is a, you know, is love God, and it really.
God is a Trini. God is a Trini. Is he saying? God is a Trini.
God is a Trini. But they say the same thing in Nigeria, by the way. They say the very same thing in Trinidad. God loves Nigeria because whatever happens, there still is like a cat with nine lives.
So, Doc,
the same thing with Trinidad.
we have Montego Bay, Jamaica on the 6th to the 8th, which means if Jamaica is signing, Afri-Exim Bank will have a presence in Jamaica, Montego Bay around that time, yes?
Yes,
absolutely. And then on the 27th of July, they have their trade conference in Grenada.
Yeah, African Caribbean Summit.
What I'm getting at is about time. So here what I'm seeing. I'm seeing OAS in Antigua. I'm seeing ECOWA in St. Lucia. I'm seeing heads of government, CARICOM heads in Jamaica. I'm seeing Afri-Exim Trade Convention in Grenada. It's about time I ain't that yet, you know, Doc. And we have to ensure we shift the paradigm a little bit. We're getting left out.
No. Well, you see, I think what has to happen now is our Minister of Trade and our Prime Minister has to now sit down and put together, a plan for entering the African market for trade and investment and bringing foreign direct investment, and also getting in with Afri-Exim. We must be a partner in the Caribbean. How can Trinidad, a leading country in energy, trade, manufacturing, and we have such talent, and we're not utilizing it at the moment. Everybody else is running ahead. 13 countries in the Caribbean have joined Afri-Exim Bank, and Trinidad being left out. Suriname getting a loan, Guyana getting a loan, Barbados, the headquarters for Afri-Exim Bank. Every other people are putting their projects together.
Doc,
Trinidad.
I thank you for your intervention. We're looking to go for a break now, Doc. So again, thanks for your intervention, your elucidation on the Afri-Exim Bank, the role it plays and the role we can play in terms of benefit. I thank you for your intervention. I know it's late in Nigeria right now. It is what, 4, 5, 9 o'clock? It's about 10 o'clock in the night now? Good. So I want you to join us next week, because I know for the next month a lot will be happening in terms of investment in the Caribbean and so forth. Yes, so I want to thank you very much on behalf of the peoples of Trinidad and Tobago and my host and co-host and the management of this station for taking the time from your busy schedule and so late in the night to really share with us. Yes, I thank you, Dr. William, Your Excellency.
I'm a patriot. It's my country, and I want my country to benefit.
All right. Okay, we go for a break now. Thanks again.
No problem.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks.
Good. All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Right, so that was Dr. William, Excellency, Ambassador to Nigeria from Antigua. Trinidadian, by the way, that is doing human service in terms of pulling it together for the transformation of our economic space in Trinidad. He's doing human service out there. Anything before we go to the break, Excellency?
Just callers, remember, and we thank Mr. West for Williams for giving us that information and helping us understand where money could come from in this tight situation. All possibilities are good possibilities, But we want to turn our attention, callers, in the next hour when we come back from the break, to that little issue with the bowling team. And the little issue I've heard that Mr. Young has said he will not be attending. The gentleman said this is a gimmick. He's not going to be attending today. So let's see how the bowling team deals with this. He's a member of the bowling team.
Why is not coming? What, they take off the light and they bowling with a black ball or something?
He would not be there. He will not be there. So join us after the break.
We'll be back in a short.
FM. tea, get ready, get hungry, and get to the hut because it's lunchtime! From pizzas to pastas, breadsticks to cinnamon rolls, Pizza Hut's all-you-can-eat lunch buffet is all yours for only $55. Sundays to Thursdays, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and extended to 4 p.m. on Sundays. Check socials for info on selected locations nationwide and take your hunger to the hut. Pizza Hut. Now that's delivering.
Campari. Red Passion. Embrace the mix. Campari Red Passion. Embrace the mix. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
This summer, give your child skills of a lifetime with Summer Boot Camp. Children between the ages of 5 to 17 come enjoy Children Iron Chef competition. Your child will learn to prepare healthy breakfast, lunch, dinner, CPR, first aid, and conflict management. With field trip, your child will be given free apron and certification upon completion. Call 492-7397 or 336-4935. Institute of Health and Fitness Company Limited, located at number 79 St. Vincent Street, Tunapuna.
For the month of June, registration will only be $50 to book your space, and you can pay the tuition fee before the start of camp.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning on The Street 919 FM radio. Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
Ikaro, I am Alatumishe Ifabamishe Aganki, better known as MC Duke.
And every Monday between the hours of 9 p.m. to midnight,
I host a show called Orisha, The Way of Life, right here on the Street 919 FM, where I have guests passing through from the Orisha Ifa Baptist Diaspora to educate, edify, and inform you, the listening public, about Orisha Ifa practices. So remember to tune in
every Monday between the hours of 9 p.m. to midnight
for Orisha, The Way of Life.
Tune in to The Street 919 FM every Friday from 9:15 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. with Kingdom Health Services, situated at number 125 to 186 Eastern Main Road in Tunapuna. For the program, Health and Healing, merging the old with the new, with Mr. Brent Diet. For more information, call 318-7471 or 484-0141 or 360-4100. It's all about Kingdom Health Services on The Street 919 FM.
Join the winning team with Pastor Alkaline John
every Tuesday from 11:05 a.m. to 12 noon and every Thursday night from 8 to 9 p.m.
live on The Street 919 FM as he talks about Lviv, the power of 5 fruits, one of the most powerful antioxidant supplements on the market today. The 5 superfruits in Lviv are mangosteen, acai, pomegranate, goji, and nuni. These fruits have a positive and profound impact on human health performance and disease. Join him as he gives live testimonials of the Lviv healing powers. To get more information, you can contact Pastor Alkaline John at 516-286-7079 or you can visit his webpage at www.alkalinejohn.com. Remember,
every Tuesday from 11:05 a.m. to 12 noon and every Thursday night from 8 to 9 p.m.
live on The Street 919 FM.
Whoever said messy was a bad thing totally missed the point. Take that hit song everyone loves now. It probably started like this. Baby, calm down. That's why KFC is celebrating the messy moments with our Messy Cruncher and Messy Zinger sandwiches for only $34.95. Imagine a crunchy, golden brown, flavorful chicken sandwich, sauced to perfection with our signature sweet, spicy, tangy sauces. Oh boy. So crunch into the deliciously messy moments today. Check socials for details. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Callers, we are back. Colleague, friends, roll up. Open the button here.
Well, callers, we want you to be mindful that today we go until 6, so we have limited time. So we can't extempo too much today. We have a matter to discuss. So when you call in, we want you to say fair or unfair, the amendment to amend the Prime Minister's Pension Act. And just to give some context, I will tell you more about the amendment as proposed, right? Other parliamentarians must be age 55 to obtain pension. This amendment seeks to do several things. One, as it is, Section 3 of the Act says anybody elected to Prime Minister after August 31st, 1962 automatically qualifies for Prime Minister's pension regardless of length of service. So there's no threshold at present. Okay? It also says in Section 4, the former Prime Minister is to receive full amount to the highest annual rate of salary. So there's no threshold for qualification, nor there's no proportionality in it, meaning you're supposed to get your full pension as it is. A day, a year, a day, 10 years, a day, 50 years.
That is law right now.
That is the law
right
as
now.
it is.
Okay.
The amendment seeks to put a threshold of not less than 1 year, a third of the salary, 2 years, half the salary, 3 years, 2/3 of the salary, and 4 years, the full amount. This amendment, however, requires a 3/5 majority in the House and the Senate. 26 government MPs, 2 in Tobago, 13 opposition, that's the House. The Senate, 16 government, 9 independent, 6 opposition. The current law lacks any qualifying age to be eligible for a Prime Minister. Parliamentarians must be age 55 currently to obtain pension. Public servants must be 60. That's you in the pavilion.
Yep.
And senior citizens must be 65.
Yep.
At present, there's no qualification for it. Okay? The person to whom it pertains now, and I could understand how he feels, you know, but he was elected March 7th. He became Prime Minister March 17th until April 28th, which is 5 weeks. 5 weeks.
Yeah.
He didn't do that, but that's the facts of it.
And the law allows for him to get it.
And the law allows for it. Okay? So, the batting team and the bowling team now are discussing this amendment.
Is it fair? Is it right?
Is it
ethical?
fair?
Is it moral? That is what's
Some
happening
of
now.
us think that it's unfair. Just give him it, no matter what, because it's legal. Now remember, we're not discussing the legality of the issue, because it's legal as it is. But we did discuss in shows before the problem of legality, because at a time you would know, Mr. Mitchell, slavery was legal.
Yeah. That don't mean to say it right.
And you know, Mr. Mitchell, at one time apartheid was legal.
That don't mean to say it right.
Okay. So
like where you went, you opened up Pandora's box there, man.
So to fix the mischief, you know, and we can dig deeper. We could ask if this is a afterthought. Was this not thought about before? So when you think about it, being something that happened by the way. This really happened by the way. They're legal luminaries on the batting and bowling side. Nobody saw that you could be prime minister for a day and receive an annual pension of $1 million. Or did they in fact see? But it was inducement. Again, we can't impute improper motive. No. But we're discussing the law here. Yeah. We're not discussing the people and the personalities. Because what I just read for you, it didn't come from ChatGPT, you know?
This issue ever came up before as an issue, or when it come to the fore now that someone going to benefit from a law that existed before, that we say, huh? We now catch ourselves and so forth?
Well, I am not too sure.
Okay, was the law there last year? Was this law there last year?
Yes, it looks like, this looks like the legislation that was the prevailing legislation.
Was it there?
Yes, it wasn't written for them. And this amendment seeks to make the amendment retroactive to March the 10th.
Well, this is it.
Which will mean that the gentleman will not qualify for full pension because he will fall under the threshold not less than a year. He'll get a third of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I didn't see they put an age.
No.
So that is still...
Well, they say once you sit in the seat, basically, based on what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Once you sit in the seat.
So, 342-0081, 342-0081, 466-5391. Begin by telling us, in your opinion, fair or unfair.
And why.
And then you'll give your explanation without getting into the personalities. Do we have a caller?
See, we have a caller here. Caller, fair or unfair?
Good afternoon, gentlemen and listeners. Extremely fair. The proposed amendments are extremely fair. Okay. And I would list out why.
Right.
You see, you asked a question if we ever had this to deal with before, and the answer is no. Right? And I will tell you why. It is because we have never had a scenario where a sitting prime minister handed over the prime ministership. Not because of passing away, not because of not capable or unfit, medically unfit or anything like that. It was just his prerogative to pick out a section in the Constitution and hand it over. And the funny thing about it, I would have gone even further than just to amend this, right? I would also include in the Constitution the part that they use that the person has to be a leader of a political party, because the Constitution said the leader of the party that has the most support, the president will swear them in, right? But to my knowledge, Stuart Young was not a leader of any party.
No. We're just dealing with the law. We are dealing with individuals.
Right.
All right.
So what I'm saying is, it is extremely fair. Because
to amend it. So it's fair to amend this law.
More than fair. Fair, because when you look at it, everybody who is in Parliament on the government side now could get a chance of receiving that. If Kamala decides today, okay, I given it up. You hold it. The next one.
So we could pass it on.
So we could pass it on. Everybody could be a prime minister for a day and get this.
Before you know it, we have to pay our prime minister.
You open up Pandora's box there, caller.
Yes.
So we could pass it on.
The opposition members, I listening to them, you know, right now they're on a break until 5:15, but I listening to them in their trying to hide and justify it at the same time, speaking about the retroactive part of it. But anybody in the right man can see that it is undeserving. It is undeserving.
All right, thanks, caller. Point made. Thank you. Good.
All right, yeah.
Well, the caller... open our next box.
We have a next caller.
We have a next caller. Let's take the poll.
Oh, just say you fall off there. Yeah.
Yes, he said that it could be passed wrong like communion.
Yeah, like communion.
We could just share it around.
5 years, we have what?
And I want the callers to understand.
Because law is the law.
Yeah.
Ethics and moral is something else.
And I want the callers to understand the captaincy of the bowling side is very, very important here.
Right now,
because she said this is a new regime.
Yeah. New thing.
This is new politics.
Paradigm shift.
And we lost because we didn't see it.
Caller.
was very quickly. I won't take too much of your time. You see, the funny thing about it, this is the same opposition who asking about means this and this and that, but they're not applying no means to this thing here. Somebody serving less than 40 days or 40-something days and entitled to this for the rest of their life when they were the same people who were coming up with
yes, we get your vote already.
Yes, that's the same caller from on. He said fear, right?
Why this caller keep coming on? Yeah.
Yes.
Caller, I could call back there. I miss you again.
So we watching the new bowling captain with Hawkeyes. We have a caller?
Caller, welcome. Fair or unfair? And reason why?
It's fair to amend the law.
Right, so it's fair to amend.
Thank you, caller. Tell us.
Just why?
The thing about there's a lacuna in the law, there's a loophole in the law, and which politicians exploited.
Right.
It was exploited, and the fact remains is that you can, as the previous caller spoke, you would have a tag team. This one passing on to this one. So what you have to correct that. That is it. You talk about the mischief or the wrong in the law.
But caller, it could pass to you.
Yeah.
Probably find the right place. Or the right place.
We have to go and line up.
You see, and you need to correct that. The fact remains is that the drafters of the Constitution probably never thought about such.
Understood. Yeah.
And really, you can't think about everything, you know.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can't, because you have. One may say it was bad law, but one would say, well, look, listen, they didn't foresee that, and they expect that certain people would operate uprightly.
And it's interesting that they want to slide and say, well, going forward, we will fix it, but let me let this one slide. I don't understand that.
The thing about it is that you usually look at good governance, and you have to demonstrate good governance. And the fact remains is that if you have a law that is not proper, it's not good law, it doesn't work in
excellent.
The country, the treasury, right? And more so if you look at it in terms of the fairness and the equality within society.
Yes.
You can't have a law where some people could exploit it to their own advantage.
Yes.
Economic, financial, and what's that?
Yes.
And the rest of the society suffer. You can't tell a man 2%, 3%, and you leave and you run with 87%.
Excellent contribution, caller. Good. Thanks.
Thank
you,
you,
man.
Well, the pavilion is alive today. The pavilion is alive. We have so far 2 people saying vehemently, unequivocally, that this is fair. Fair play.
Change it.
Umpire, fair play.
Yeah.
Fair play. You know, in the other sport, it's a good tackle.
Yeah.
A man might fall.
Yeah.
A man might ball. But you get ball first. You get the ball first. It was a clean tackle.
I wonder if the shoes was on the other foot, what the conversation would have been.
That's the problem with principle.
Yeah, this is not a legal issue, you know, it's a moral issue here. Caller, welcome. Fair or unfair to repeal this law? Is it fair?
Gentlemen, I am saying it's fair, right? Because you have other government personnel, retirees, and public officers who have outstanding arrests to get because there was no collective agreement since the last one ended 2013, and I think it is a fair situation because there must be equity.
There must be equity.
Right?
Yes.
And the thing is that you don't hear nobody saying where the economy is. As public servants have to get a cent increase, all economics something jumping up.
When it's time to pay you, caller, the economy bad.
The economy bad.
When it's time to pay you.
And the law doesn't allow.
Yeah.
Right? So that's all I have to say. Because
Thank you. Excellent.
I and all is a victim in this state.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you.
Blessings to you. Take care.
So call us on 3420081 4665391. Fair or unfair?
The repeal, the revocation.
The gentleman in question says he feels targeted.
Yeah.
He feels that this is meant for him to impugn that he came into politics for nefarious reasons. And he came with clean hands. He didn't bring the legislation. He met it there. This is the legislation.
But if you meet something there, as a leader of man, as a leader of country, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you have a ethical, moral responsibility to see if what you meet makes sense, if there's fair play?
If you're going to benefit from it?
If you come and meet... So, going back to... We have to get this tape, you know. So, are we saying it is not wrong if I'm a beneficiary of it?
Well, good question.
So, you understand what I'm saying?
Good
the law
question.
allow me to do that. Again, I went back to what you're saying. The law allow for slavery. The law allow for what they say? African person, a black person couldn't go in a white shop. The law allow for that.
That was legal.
That was legal.
Yeah. That
was
legal.
it right?
But those things affected masses and the entire citizenry. This gentleman says this ad hominem legislation targets him. Nobody affected.
Target a seat. You see, we start looking at a position as my position. It's not your position.
Yeah.
It is a seat of governance, and it's the seat we're discussing. You know, that seat. You see that seat there? Have conditionalities that come with that seat there. Yeah, and if you have to sit on the seat, you benefit. Right?
Well, it come like if you sit down in a maxi long enough, the seat is yours. No?
The seat is yours.
If you sit down in the maxi long enough, the seat is yours.
Afternoon caller, fair, unfair, and reason why.
Well, President Trinidad and Tobago posted again.
Yes,
you're welcome.
Who I am because I am somebody. And, well, without further ado, I will say fair.
Yes.
Right. But, you know, I as a layman, I very dread over the whole scene, you know.
Right.
Right, because first to begin, you see the lavish amount of money these people get? That is one of my problems.
Right.
If I could have repealed the whole thing, whether the man in question or not.
Right.
Is the lavish amount of money.
Yeah.
That they go and put up there and they're talking about 4% and all kind of thing and all of that. This 10% this lady talk about, hopefully it come. But I only could say hopefully it come. While as I say hopefully it come, somebody getting 45% raise and all kind of thing. Now the situation of the pension, at least we recognize it, and as I say from since 1962.
Correct.
That the pension, the legislation for the pension, it is there. So at least we understand, and we can't go against that because it is there.
Yes.
I personally, for the person in question, to me, I don't know about people, but a general election ensures putting a prime minister, ensures the prime minister of the time. It did not have that. If it did not have that, I cannot see how he could be a prime minister. I don't care who put him there. Because under the constitution, even the last time you said had us to be by the vote of the people, one vote, one thing.
No.
And then we have to have the convention.
Right. Call him,
He could not be a prime minister. Yeah. I don't know how people call it to say he was not to me.
Prezi.
Yes, my brother.
You see, we can't individualize this conversation. We're talking about a seat of governance.
Yes,
we call the seat of the prime minister. For the individual, whoever sits in the seat. Right? The law. And is it fair for anybody that sits in that seat, anybody who sits in the seat, you could be prime minister too, to get a pension if you only sit in the seat?
Right.
Right.
We take that.
I say no.
All right.
We take that,
Good. We take
Thank
that,
you.
Prezi.
Because I have us to do the voting for anything, and you see that sitting in the seat thing is my vote to happen. Well, so really and truly, so I could really go up there and be going there tomorrow.
Exactly.
You go tomorrow, Prezi. You go tomorrow. We want to change your name. We can't call you Prezi. We can't call you Prezi. You have to call us a PM. We want to call you PM. All right, Prezi. Thank you. Thank you for calling. Well, Prezi, you see how it's going? A man going tomorrow.
Changing name.
To ask if he could get 2 days.
Hear what the government say. Hear what the batsmen say.
Yeah, let me hear the batsmen say.
The bill is not about young.
Okay.
It's not about individual.
Okay.
But further proofing the pension system.
Okay.
Against misuse.
So it's just coincidental, is it then?
They see it. So they say now about you, brother.
Right.
Proofing the pension system, we're protecting it. It promotes accountability, fiscal responsibility, and what? Public trust.
Okay.
They say that we're trying to do here.
All right.
Public trust, because here we're going on there. Everybody's saying they're against, right? Let me fix it. Just now. It aligns with international what? Norms, where service-linked pensions are standard. Service-linked pensions are standard. International norms. You understand? So government, the batsmen are sitting on that foundation right now.
Well, as attractive as that argument is.
Against misuse, and something you all say just now that make me laugh. So PM could say, well, I fed up, well, Tom, you take it tomorrow, and Tom say, this thing too hard, yes, and Harry take it tomorrow.
Yeah,
so
we could
have 10
we could spin it wrong. I didn't even, if I knew, I would have put in my petition. What's it worst could happen a week, or 2 weeks, or 2 days? Just give me 2 days.
So it goes back to, good, it goes back to recusal from cabinet when they're discussing something that pertains to you. Yeah? And you see what we say? The law allow for it, but is it ethically and morally right?
We discuss that.
Likewise, we go back to this now and say, is it, we know it's a law, but is it ethically and morally right?
Want to hear from the pavilion. Some 3 people have already had their say. We want new callers today. We have a lady who calls, I'm waiting on her.
They're corrupt.
I'm waiting.
Corrupt.
Yes, I'm waiting from the rest of the pavilion.
The whole country corrupt.
Is the amendment, not the repeal, they're not repealing it, they're amending it to the Prime Minister's Pension Act, a fair call. Let's forget the personalities involved.
I will say the vote in Parliament is a conscience vote because I need
majority. That's not a conscience. That's a threshold.
Across the floor.
We need people from across the floor.
26, at least 26.
On paper, they say 9 people independent.
No, I'm talking about in the Parliament.
In the Parliament.
In the lower house.
The lower house.
You need one more. You need some help there. You need 26 to vote. Government at 26.
The government at 26.
There are 3/5 majority there.
The problem is not the lower house.
The upper house.
The Senate is the problem.
The upper house, you need them independence.
Ah.
No, I put it this way. I feel conscience vote will take, and I feel the captain of the bowling side will talk to our people. They'll put up arguments, but I want them to demonstrate. Really, the bowlers, I want them to demonstrate a paradigm shift in terms of thinking and to vote for what is morally and spiritually right.
You really feel between election night loss and now the paradigm shift?
No, it's a new captain. Of course, it must be a paradigm shift. Then we shall leave the old captain in place.
So
why would I change captain if the batting or the bowling going to remain the same?
There are questions even about the new captain and the captaincy.
You kidding?
They look at the voter turnout even within the party and say it was poor. You see the double sword? Voter turnout at election poor. So people vote out.
An internal poor.
Now internal now. They questioning, they say, but this captain don't have no mandate.
Whoa. So they might have a next election then.
Now remember, in first past the post,
3
people could vote. Whoever first.
Yeah.
But 3 people out of 3,000. What legitimacy is that? So internally, we've been hearing from the dressing room, and there have been grumblings about, we didn't want to vote.
I look at that as a demonstration, as the overall country behavior. Because in the general election, you have most government in office, if you look at a few sessions that pass, is they in government by only about 33% of the population supporting them, because 33% don't vote, and next 33 or 31 might vote for the opposition, and 33% may vote for the government, that the executive that is in office. So it generally shows people have been losing interest. The politics of the day in Trinidad have been exciting people, and we've seen it inside of what you say.
Even in the internal team,
within
team
your
elections.
party, people are not excited by
even
what
in
is
the team
presented.
elections, in the bowling team.
So the population, the people in the pavilion is really looking for a paradigm shift in terms of the cricket match that is taking place. Are we right to say that?
And that will be evidenced by the vote on this bill.
Yeah.
We will see.
If country first.
Because, let me take you back. Remember when the mic was on, and when the drinks done sharing, we were listening to a little chatter in the dressing room, the mics were on.
And the window was open.
And we get to realize that there was what you call a 9/11 vote.
Yes.
So remember, there seemed to be discord from since then. So let's carry that trend. If there was discord then about the process by which the gentleman got the seat on the maxi, now that there's a bill that addresses or seems to correct retroactively some of the benefits of getting that seat, this should be an easy bill. Unless the paradigm and shift.
Well, this is a good test of our political system and our governance system.
Yes.
And what are the principles in which both sides stands on, because from a legal side, I mean, I'm looking at it, it affects property rights.
Yeah, yes. And
actively alters the entitlement
and
of
the gentleman didn't say that, so we can't quote him. But he signaled that his constitutional rights may be abridged.
Yeah.
And you know where that's going.
So what is the okay, we talking the seat, and let me look at the person who's in the seat, the recipient now. The recipient is saying, I am worthy of the pension. Is that what the recipient is saying?
I didn't hear anything about worthiness.
Yeah.
The argument has been entitlement.
The law provides for me to get that.
No, this is not the first time we have entitlement discussions. Remember, we was talking entitlement when we were talking about the vehicle concessions.
Yeah.
For parliamentarians. Legitimate entitlement. Legitimate.
Yeah.
So it is not a question of entitlement, but in this entitled place, this place of kings and queens, lords and dames,
anointed ones.
Yes. Yes. If we go down the road of entitlement, well, the criminals have a case too. The criminals have a case too. They do.
Well, the retrenchment, so I have no work, so I need some food, so I'm going to take some
and
rice.
as you mentioned, retrench,
yeah.
We heard this evening that CPEP workers gone home.
Why? They finish work and clock the card or something, and they go home.
Thank you for your service. Goodbye.
But they reach retirement age too?
No, they didn't retire.
So they go home.
And it wasn't force majeure. It was goodbye.
VSEP?
It wasn't VSEP.
Are you using gentle words? You know, become climbing a ladder.
VSEP
right
is voluntary separation.
It wasn't VSEP.
This was compulsory separation. This might be concept.
What do you mean by, okay, let's define.
It's a dismissal.
It's a dismissal. Who is CPEP workers? Workers in the office, contractors, people working for the contractors. There are categories of workers in CPEP, so we have to really define who we talking about.
Well, they're all under the umbrella. They might be at different places under the umbrella, and we'll get in these specifics. We don't want to stray from what's going on with the team, with the bowling team. What going on with the bowling team? Conscience vote.
Yeah.
The female captain said this is a new team. Forget the old captain. He playing a next sport right now. He stopped playing cricket.
They just pelt the ball sometimes. We only want proper bowling.
Yeah, he stopped playing cricket. He's not playing anymore. Forget him. Good? He played. He make his score. Let me forget that. But I am, as a new captain, I am going to hold the party to higher moral and ethical values.
Excellent test.
Excellent test.
Of leadership. Excellent test.
Will she whisper, vote how you feel?
Yeah.
Or will she crack the whip?
Yeah. Groupthink or conscience vote?
Will she crack the whip? Because the question is, if we examine it, out of that 9/11, how much are the 11 there? And how much are the 9 there?
So you might have dissension inside of that?
Well, mathematically, you're supposed to. But I don't know about this new paradigm shift. I don't know what will happen. But mathematically, if there was 9/11, and we know who won and who lost, you have...
So all might be on the same page now.
All cannot be on the same page. I'm putting it to you, sir.
Maybe there was a kumbaya conversation.
Maybe they made up.
And everybody's singing from the same
evidence
hymn book.
Leading up to the internal elections tell me that it didn't make up. Because we hear the old captain had things to say too.
Yeah, caller. Caller, welcome.
Fair or unfair?
Fair or unfair?
Well, I say fair, right? But what I'm saying here is that they were done acting. Now, if you're acting prime minister, the finance minister was acting at one time.
Go ahead.
And the finance was acting. Well, if the finance minister was acting, he's supposed to be getting a money too then.
Well, the law says prime minister, not acting prime minister, to be specific. So you have to be
well, as
prime
far as
minister.
I concerned, he was acting. He was no prime minister. That say again, nobody did vote him.
Prezi,
he was acting.
Prezi, all right. Prezi, you win with that. Prezi, you win. Thanks again. Okay.
Let's take another call. Thanks, Prezi. Prezi trying to get us in trouble today. Prezi said this is Hollywood. Prezi trying to get us in trouble. Prezi had to go down and ask for a little acting.
Yeah.
See if you could get the pension.
Change that Prezi to PM.
To PM, yeah. You had to change it PM. Go down, tell them you were on Street 91.9 FM.
Yeah.
And you hear that.
This conversation had to continue because I want to look at the debate, what was said.
Well, yes, we just laying the foundation because the debate is going on. We couldn't be in two places at one time.
Yeah.
So we have to take it over the weekend.
Yeah.
But we want to hear, if we want to see this new captaincy.
Yeah.
This captain says she's doing things different.
Yeah.
And this captain said, as a matter of fact, the reason for our abysmal batting performance was because we were out of touch.
We didn't listen to the people.
We didn't listen to the people.
But now the people saying, hey, that is...
No, well, she doesn't maybe believe that the people saying that. She believe that the next captain saying that.
But is the people saying it?
Well, I would assume so.
The question is, who is the captain on the bowling side listening to?
So, is it that who taking it personal? The batsman or the bowler? Because the bowler saying, "All it targeting me."
Mm-hmm.
And the batsman is saying that was a no ball.
Yeah, caller. Caller, welcome.
Based on the guy, now they're still out of touch. But if you continue and carry on, the whole nation is watching.
Okay,
all right.
Thanks, caller. The batsman is saying that was a no ball.
Mm-hmm.
The bowler is saying you're targeting me. Well, how you targeting me? I ain't targeting you. Anybody ball a no ball is a no ball?
A no ball is a no ball.
A no ball is a no ball? He said, but I bowling and I feel that you're targeting me. So, who is looking at the bigger picture or who is not looking at the bigger picture? Who is being the bigger person or who is not being the bigger person?
Is it that the bowler would say, here we're going on? Okay. Fair play.
The rules are fair play.
We recognize that the law allows for.
Yeah.
But going forward, let me fix it going forward.
Yeah.
Let me don't make it. If we do it retroactively, it look like we're targeting somebody.
Because you have seen instances where good sportsmanship prevails.
Yeah, like, okay, it happened, no problem. Good.
I remember a time when two men running down the wicket.
And they run into each other.
And the bowler pretend to be.
Yeah.
to obstruct, and men were angry.
Yeah.
Men were angry. No, it wasn't illegal. He didn't side tackle him.
Yeah.
But really and truly, in the interest of the game.
Yeah. So one way of looking at this then is that saying, look, the law allows for this to happen. The law was there all the time. Everybody sit quietly, allow the law. Probably was an oversight. We were distracted by a number of things. And could a conversation be placed in the public space for the pavilion to say, here what's going on? So, yes, the lacuna that exists, okay, he get through with that. But here what? Going forward, effective today, going forward, we change it. But let's not make it retroactive. Retroactive look like we're targeting. Going forward, let's fix it going forward so it won't repeat itself again.
$87,847 a month. Just about $1 million annually. That is what we're talking about. $87,847.
For 1 month work?
For 1 month. Well, for 5 weeks.
5, oh yeah.
5 weeks, a little over a month.
Not
for the rest of your life.
Not a wooden hands on.
And you do not have to wait. No, it's paid immediately. You know? When you stop being Prime Minister. 55? It's a pension. 55. No, you don't have to wait till 55.
Immediately.
And that's what she said. That's what the captain of the next side says. Parliamentarians now must obtain the age of 55.
Parliamentarian.
Public servant 60.
Yeah. But you.
Senior citizen 65.
But you
could get it now.
One time.
Yeah, you could get at 23.
After 5 weeks.
You could get at 23.
After 5 weeks. After a week.
It could be 5 weeks, 5 after when you're on 23.
So what are you trying to tell me? If you go and sign,
right,
president, you sign.
Right.
And you say, me, I feel like going home. You get it?
You get it?
Nah, man.
You get it?
Nah, man.
Your belly hurting, you gain it. Your backache, you gain it. You gain it. If you take it back and say, well, under certain family circumstances, you could no longer continue. You need to go back to your private life.
This law was there all the time. I'm trying to see when this law passed that this was applicable. It was always the law for a while.
Yes, it was always the law.
And then they raised the salary to this strange number in the 80s and so forth. But if the law was there all the time that you could have gotten a prime minister's pension, if it was there 10, 15 years ago, if you serve 1 day in the chair, how it wasn't an issue before. And I'm going and check because I want to have a conversation with the pavilion.
Because nobody served. That's easy. Nobody served 1 day before.
No. But it could have happened.
But then we would not have been having this discussion. It would have happened.
Yeah. Welcome, caller. Is it fair or unfair? What is your take?
Hello, good afternoon.
A pleasant good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. Well, my phone is down, so I'm not hearing anything. Hello?
Hello.
We hear you loud
and clear.
Right. What
fair or unfair, caller, before you go ahead.
Is it fair or unfair?
Fair or unfair?
For it to repeal the bill. Is it fair
to amend the
bill? I'm not hearing you.
She's not hearing.
Is what fair?
The amendment of the bill, the Prime Minister's Pension Act.
What's she call
maybe she can.
Wait. I think it's fair.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us why.
Minister. Just because I think it's fair. If I was a prime minister, I think I'd be good. That would be good for me. You remember, it's to any prime minister, no.
No,
but I didn't hear you whole. What you? Yeah. What you?
You call us on 342-0081.
Call us back on 342-0081. Yeah. Yeah, she didn't hear. It's off.
She seemed. So
we have a caller. Caller, welcome.
Yes, good day. So I think it's just unfair.
Okay.
For her to repeal the
to amend. Amend, not
amend
appeal.
the act.
Yes.
Amend the act retroactively. I know because there's a flaw in the law, nobody ever envisaged that there would be a prime minister for a day or for a month. So clearly that was not part of the thought process when they when they did the law. So now that it has happened, it seems as if they are doing it in a spiteful manner.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking that if it was one of their own on the UNC side who had suffered the same fate and was their prime minister for 1 month or the case may be, they would have never said, let us do it retroactively. But they have something with the PNM they're always demonizing them.
Okay.
Telling the people that they are wicked and evil and so on.
Okay.
And this is this is a step to get rid of those wicked, evil people from abusing public funds. But it's not an abusive fund because it was the law.
Yeah.
It's just that there was a loophole in the law that they need to fix. Not retroactive, but going forward from here on, let us do it so and so.
Thank you, caller. Excellent contribution.
So
Thank you, caller. Thank you.
Good.
And we appreciate all views on the street 91.9 Third Empire.
Yeah. So he remind me of 1818.
Yeah.
Nobody thought to have 1818, but it happened. Welcome, caller.
Yes, fair on. I believe it is fair
Thank
to
you.
make a retroactive approach in the bill.
Yes, tell us why.
Reason being, as a leader,
Yes.
right, you have to set by example. You must first serve in order to lead.
Yes.
Right? And this situation, right, if they allow it to go forward as it is without doing it retroactive, it sets a precedent, right, in terms of employment, right?
Yes.
If a person holds a position and they have just sat in it for just a month or a week, according to the contract law, that for that position, you're entitled to certain benefits within a year, not a month.
Yes.
Right? So if that precedent is set with him, right, giving it to him as it is now, then going forward with the citizens who are looking forward, looking up at the leaders, right, then that is the same practice you will have to now take with the public servants
Yes.
who have taken positions and did not finish the contract period to get their gratuity, right?
Yes.
That will set the precedence where people will now challenge, right? Because you're setting by example. And as a leader who is saying that you're doing a new thing, right? You have to lead with integrity.
Right.
Whether people like you or not, whether you are favored or not, it is what is right to do. And what is right to do will impact what the loophole of the law, right, the method created,
Yes.
right? And I believe that it is right to start from retroactive.
Thank
because
you.
She is in a position that the eyes are on her.
Yes.
People are looking.
Yes.
Right? And she needs to take a firm stand from the very first mistake and fix it for people to have confidence going forward. And in all fairness to the people on the lowest end of the scheme, right, which is we public servants, we had to take 4% while they took double and triple times. This is unfair. So
Right.
we have to bring the moral compass into the situation to balance out the loophole, to correct the loophole that the law created, right? And I think it is fair in what she's doing, right? Because we did not vote for that person.
Thank you,
Right.
caller.
Thank
you
caller.
very much.
Thank you, caller.
Very well said. That caller was very eloquent. A very
Articulated
eloquent,
the position
very
well.
well articulated. And everybody has a say in this
From the
game.
pavilion,
From the
yeah.
pavilion.
Yeah,
Everybody will have varying views, but all are welcomed. All are welcomed.
Welcome, caller.
You know, more than just extremely fair. If the former Prime Minister was elected, it would have been easier to swallow this pill. So whether the population elect you and the next year you call the next election, it would have been easier to swallow this pill. But the manner in which it was done is more reason why it is extremely fair that they must implement these new changes now.
Okay.
And you tell me it's law because that is what the politicians are there to do, legislate.
Excellent.
Thank you, caller.
No problem. And let them legislate properly now.
Thank you. Good man.
So the caller, the previous caller, spoke about
his moral values.
Moral values. And she identified what it would mean to the public servants.
Yeah.
Mind you, the public servants, you have to work to 60. It is nothing immediate when you leave the work. You have to survive to 60.
So you really have to bring balance.
So the whole idea of our pension seems to be eligibility.
Yeah.
But what this Batten team is saying, this particular entitlement has no eligibility threshold. You could get it if you're 25, and you could get it if it was 25 hours.
So there's a lot to be fixed there. Apart from the percentage, 1 year 33%, 2 years 50%, 3 years 66%, and so forth. There's another part of it to be fixed.
Yes.
In terms of age.
Yes.
And so forth.
Yes. And they didn't even
so
go
it
there.
must fall in line with the public service regulation to some extent. Are we saying that?
Well, they didn't even bring that amendment. They just said 1 year, 1/3.
They say work for it then.
Yeah.
Basically say work
2 years, a half.
Yeah.
3 years, 2/3.
Yeah.
4 years.
Yeah.
And you get your full amount.
So basically say work for it. Sit down in the chair for at least 4 years if you want all the money.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the real mischief is what the bowling side is seeing as the retroactive.
Yes.
I think that is the whole
so some are saying, let me get this one applied. We go fix the others.
Yeah.
Who doesn't say that they will feel the same way too?
Yeah. Welcome, caller.
Fair or unfair?
Yes, hello, good evening. I'm first time caller to your program, but as usually calling.
Thank you.
So often. But I've heard you all speak already just before the election. So you are Mr. Matheson, if I have it correct.
Yes.
Hello? Yeah, I heard you speak when Mr. Alexander was on radio and things. So, yeah. I have a question to ask. I just recently, about 15 minutes, tuned into the thing, come in a vehicle there. Isn't the members of parliament, the politicians, be it a senator, a member of parliament, MP, the prime minister, the house speaker, are they considered public servants?
No.
Oh, because in my opinion, based upon what the previous caller said, I think they should fall under because they are serving the public, they are serving the people.
That's a good idea in theory. I agree with you in theory, but they fall outside the remit. That's why their salaries are determined by the Salary Review Commission.
And they're elected.
But caller, you didn't tell us whether you found the amendment to be fair or unfair, which is where we want to start.
To be honest, I've been listening. I was trying to get because I didn't get chance because of the nature of my work. I didn't really get to listen to anything much.
Okay.
But gathering from listening to what the few
it's the pension qualification for Mr. Young, but really it's the pension qualification for the Prime Minister. You know, Mr. Young is just the person involved in the mischief, quote unquote. But it is that.
Okay, I would try to see if I can give an opinion based upon just from what you are saying. No, I mean I know this have been on the burner. They have been speaking about this. To me, one should qualify for that type of pension as I said, based upon longevity of service.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fair.
Okay, you have been there.
Yeah.
Because in my line of work, yes, it's true. I operate heavy equipment, but at the same time too, could we? How would you put me to operate a crane and I'm only in it just 6 months? And give me, yes, I have qualification, but does he deserve to get that pay based upon his qualification?
Yeah.
So to me, that is just me speaking here.
Yes.
I feel it all based upon your service, how
tenure of
you in the
service.
industry and what you're doing. Yeah.
Yes.
So for me, I think it should work like that.
Okay.
But I have one final question. Mrs. Kamala Prasad, which is our present Prime Minister, right? She was a Prime Minister.
Yes.
She became right. So how was she paid? So she was paid as a Prime Minister first. as an MP, became Prime Minister, she would have probably got an opposition leader salary. Now she's gone back. Now, was she receiving a pension when she was opposition leader?
Remember,
So to me, that is something that, yeah.
parliamentarians, parliamentarians, caller, must be 55 and up to obtain a pension. Eh?
Oh, okay. Well,
They have qualification standards here. They have it at 55, public servants are 60, and senior citizens are 65.
Okay. 65.
So parliamentarians don't get it automatically when you come out of parliament. For pension, the only person who gets it the day after is the Prime Minister. And full amount. So that is what the amendment seeks to correct.
To correct, yes.
But it didn't even give any age. Yeah, they just give the threshold that you talk about.
Okay,
So I wonder if there's some, thanks, caller.
What I will do, as you all said, you're most welcome, lockdown listening, and I'll start a read up and see what this
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good.
And you know what I like about that caller? He admit he didn't know.
Yeah.
He didn't pretend to know.
Yeah.
Plenty of us pretend to know. Mr. Mitchell, even though I'm an umpire, what I don't know, I don't know.
I don't know. That's why I research, you know.
Yes.
I go and I find out.
The umpire is not an AI.
No.
No. We're not AIs. We search. And the drafters of this legislation didn't know that somebody would have get a 5 weeks.
Yes, that is possible.
In 62.
Or someone would become a prime minister and not sit in the chair for 5 years.
In 62.
No one thought about that.
Not in 62.
In 76, Republican Constitution, we didn't amend it either in 76.
Who thinking about that? Because normally the prime minister is a man who's win election and go up and
for 5
vote.
years and want to go again.
And go on campaign and this. I don't know anybody who never campaigned who became. I don't know.
Who will get and give it up in a month time.
So we coming to the close of this innings, of this meeting, but we will return.
Yeah.
And we will put in what is going on with the CPEP workers.
Yes.
We'll discuss that.
I'm curious.
But we will discuss this thing about standing on principle. I love when people say, I standing on principle. But they really mean, I standing today on principle, tomorrow to hell with you. Today. Because what the batting side has to do is to ensure that their stand on principle is generously applied to other things that they will do, because they're batting now, you know. They're batting now. We're just going retroactively with the bowling side and a little mischief in the law. But there is plenty mischief.
But you said something earlier, and now what the batsmen now are setting a standard to say to the public, to the people in the pavilion, we stand on moral and ethical values. We're looking at the rental of property. They talk about that.
Yes.
They talk about the recusal. They talk about this pension and so forth. So which means they are demonstrating so far. Things that they meet, they are saying. It is not ethical. It is not moral. So we not
the batting
supporting
captain in her opening speech, in her maiden innings, said, don't come to me for government house.
Yeah.
You'll have allowances. Use it.
Yeah.
Again, she was clear on as day on that. Is she going to continue along that line? We would hope, but we will have to wait and see. She came out, and the way when you saw her say that, it sounded like they didn't discuss it before.
Yeah.
Because everybody watching, I watching wrong. I am all shocked. You know, I said, wait now, this Captain Dread, boy. This Captain Dread. This captain said, don't come for me for no government handout. I'm not in that. The red captain, the bowling captain said, this is a new dispensation.
Yeah.
This is new politics.
I go in and do things differently.
I going to do things differently. And if it wrong, it wrong. And our innings was aborted because we became aloof of the people. We didn't listen to the people.
It was aborted prematurely.
Prematurely, we could have put more runs on the board. But the captain decided this person must bat in the last over, 100 to make. And first ball, stumps went flying. So, callers, the third umpire will be back on Monday Monday afternoon at 4 o'clock. Join us for this discussion. God bless. Have a good afternoon.
We see you next week. Have a great weekend.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
Campari, Red Passion. Embrace the mix.
Campari, Red Passion, full action, this is Red Passion. Embrace the mix, add Campari, make it turn and twist. Add your chaser in your drink, Campari, Red Passion, make the nicest mix. Campari!
Campari Red Passion. Embrace the mix. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Are you tired of scratching the surface? Do you want to understand the real forces shaping